A little while ago, I dropped a couple of tutorials going over speed ramping and stabilizations, and y'all flooded my DMs with requests for tutorials. I'm gonna go over a couple shots to help get you guys started, and then in future episodes, I'll go over the editing portion, my workflow from Premiere into After Effects. But for now, we're just gonna focus on the filming portions. I usually like to start my shoots all with my punch-ins, right? It's the bread and butter of all of my shoots. Right now, I have my focal length set to 16mm. We're standing about 20 feet away from the car, and right now the car is like perfectly framed inside of my monitor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick a spot. So let's go straight on right here. You can see the emblem right in the dead center of the hood. I'm gonna take my camera, make sure that center portion is all lined up. We're just gonna punch in, keeping that as close to the middle as we can. I try to keep a spot on the car as my focal point, and that's what I'll use to track later. It can be anything from like this body panel gap to the headlight. Using something like Mocha, I can track onto this bolt, I can track onto this, and I'll just use that as a reference when I'm in my editing software. So when I'm doing a rim, I'll usually come from like right here, push in. We'll do a push in here straight on, and then we'll do a push in from the back. So then we can move to the rear of the car, do the same thing for the rear rim and the tail lights, rear emblem. And since my S15 has this nice brake light, I usually will track that as well. And for the headlights and tail lights, I usually will do the same thing where I'll push in from, you know, an extreme angle one way along the back and do a push in. Right now I don't have a lot of space with this curb, and usually when I go and transfer from off to on cement, it never works out well. The shot is always shaky, but I'll push in right here, and then I ultimately would like to get a push in shot from right here. As you can see, I'm not standing quite far enough back for the shot to work, but nonetheless, we can still grab it. All right, so from here, we have all of our push-in shots. We've hit the front, we've hit the headlights, we've hit the rims, we got all the different angles going into it. Now we're gonna do orbits. And orbits are a nice way to keep momentum moving. I'll do the same thing where I'll come to a headlight and do an orbit. So like the shot, really, I want to start right about there. All right, so I'm gonna take 2 steps back, maybe 3, and then I'll start. You can see the gimbal kind of settles after the first couple steps. We got that perfect. Next, I'll do the center emblem, work into the next headlight. It's more comfortable for me to start on the left side and work to the right side. I can do it the other way, but I prefer to do it this way. The shots come out a little bit more stable. You'll kind of find as you're shooting, you have a similar thing where you have a strong side and a weak side, just like left and right hand, you know, with writing. So kind of playing to those strengths will help the footage come out smoother, but you do want to practice going both ways. So I can start this orbit going this way, super smooth, or I can start it this way. It's not going to be as smooth. You can see it takes a couple more steps for me to settle into the gimbal's movement going this other way, but I can still get it done. So before I move away from the headlights, I've done one at like waist, chest level. I also like to get one high, and it kind of achieves a different purpose inside of the edit when we get these different angles. And after I get the one that's going high, I'll come back around and I'll get one low. Come around at a low angle, and you can see how much more. Let's get even lower. So that was about at knee height. I want to get even lower, so let's go and really scrape this camera on the ground trying to get this shot. Not actually going to have it hit the ground. You can see how dramatic that makes the shot having it lower. And I'm losing some of my accuracy being that low, but since I am keeping that whole headlight, or more specifically, I'm trying to keep my marker on that light, it should be easy enough to track. Now we're gonna move to the rims, doing the same shit. So we're gonna start out by doing one waist level, boom, or about chest height, I guess. We'll get one high, and now we'll get one really low. Now with these shots we just got, you can actually make a pretty good edit. I would suggest just starting out with these shots just to help get more familiar with the shooting style. But after this point is usually when I'll start with my compound movements and my wide shots. Now to show you guys what I mean by compound movements, we're gonna say that we're aiming at this headlight and I'm gonna start swinging this way, right? And I get to like right here, and then I'll switch my feet position and start coming back this other way. Now these are shots that I've just recently started introducing into my edits. It takes quite a bit of time to get comfortable with them. It's taken me quite a bit of time to get the shot steady enough to feel comfortable using it in an edit. So please be patient with yourself. It's not something that you're going to get on the first or second or even third try, but you can do all sorts of fun things. Like I like to swing my gimbal as I'm doing some of these shots. So I'll swing my gimbal this way for the headlight, and then I'll get to this nice wide shot, and then I'll come back the other way and push through this headlight. That looks pretty good, but just seeing how my aim was in that shot, it's gonna have quite a bit of left and right wobble. So I'm gonna do this shot again. So I'm gonna come out this way, and you can see my tracking was already off from that point, so I'm gonna restart. I'm gonna come left, get this nice side profile, and then I'm gonna come right. I love using this shot on rims. So I'll come this way, and then I'll come back. Boom. Now, when you're doing some of these shots, it's important to keep in mind how you're gonna be linking all these things together, right? So if I come in and I'm pushing in on this headlight, if then I shoot this shot where I'm coming back and I'm orbiting that headlight, that's not going to be a very smooth motion. It's going to come in and then jerk back left. But if instead I chain it with a wheel orbit, that's a lot more smooth. So the camera will push in to that headlight and then continue the momentum around that rim. So something I could chain off of that is like coming back to a tail light and keeping that same momentum off of the tail light. Or even coming off of the center emblem on the trunk, pushing in. So now to come down the headlight, across the rim, and push out. So it's making a giant half circle around the car, at which point I'd probably come back and have it chain into another edit. So for these wide shots, you want to be quite a ways back. I'm about 30 yards from the car doing this wide shot, and it's a similar thing, but the more important thing is to not let your camera go up and down or snap left or right. I personally only shoot in FPV mode because I haven't had good luck with the PF or the PTF modes. So I'll keep that front right rim in the center of my monitor, and I'm just going to walk right. And you see how I came all across there, and even though I started at that tree and now I'm here, I kept that rim there. So now I have something to track through, even through all the brush and everything, to help get that nice shot that I'm looking for. So a lot of our shots have ended right here. This is where like my centering point is, right? If I wanted to chain something off of me pushing in on that center emblem, I could just line up with that center emblem and start coming across this way. So now my shot will come over, and I can link it all the way to the back. So we got our pushes, we got our orbits, we got our compound shots, we got our wide shots. Last thing we need to do is thank the client for their time. And as you drive home, realize the dread of trying to pick out a trending song off of Instagram or TikTok to go with this damn edit you're about to make. I really want to appreciate you guys for checking out the video. I'm still very new to this whole long form thing. So please leave any critiques you have or anything you'd want to see in future videos down below in the comments, and I'll make sure to reply to those comments, let you know the answers if it's a simple one, and if it's a more complex question, it could turn into its own long form video all by itself. So I really appreciate your guys' time, and yeah, until the next one, take it easy.